My husband said something to me last week that I can't stop thinking about. We were sitting right here on this couch. I was crying again, and this was over a commercial. You know those ASPCA ones with the sad dogs? And my husband looked at me and said, Babe, not everyone feels things the way you do, right? And I was like, What? What do you mean? So, and I wanted to ask you this. Does this happen to you? Like you cry at commercials and everyone else just doesn't? My husband said most people can watch that same commercial and feel sad about the message, but they don't cry. Most people don't absorb other people's emotions. Most people don't need 3 hours alone after work just to function. And I just sat here and I thought, everyone was like this, but they're not. And that's when I realized I am an HSP, a highly sensitive person. And because I genuinely thought that everyone was like this. You watch the video and you feel it and you cry and feel sad, but they're not. So once I realized I'm a highly sensitive person, that's when I understood. And once I understood that, everything in my life suddenly made sense. So stay with me because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact moments I realized I was a HSP, the signs I missed for the last, well, 40 years. And then one thing that actually changed, and I finally had language for what I am. And if you're watching this wondering, am I a HSP too? By the end of this video, you'll feel like you have a better understanding. You'll know, and you'll never see yourself the same way again. Quick thing before I tell you what happened. I share a new video every single day, and they build on each other like a story you can't put down. So tomorrow I'm going to be talking about why HSPs can't say no, even when we desperately want to. And that will connect to today's video. So if you want to keep figuring this out with me, I want you to go ahead and subscribe. Because what I'm finding out is that most people who are watching my videos are not subscribed yet. So if you're finding value here, the best way to support me and my work is simple. Hit the subscribe button at the bottom and turn that on and turn on your notifications. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Just hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications button, and this also will help other HSPs find us. Plus, it's the best compliment you can give me. And tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about why HSPs can't say no even when we desperately want to. These videos that I'm sharing with you guys, they're building on each other. So if today resonates, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. All right, so let me tell you how I figured out I was an HSP. So here's the thing. I spent my entire life thinking something was wrong with me. Like, I want to say, I was thinking I was fundamentally broken. I was too emotional, too sensitive, too much, because that's what I was told growing up. So, this is what I remember. When I was a kid, whenever I cried, I always got told that no, that's not toughen up. That's don't cry. That it's not that serious. But for me, I was feeling overwhelmed. And, you know, someone telling me that I'm too sensitive or I need to toughen up, that that didn't feel good as a child. But I, as a child, I couldn't speak back. I couldn't speak up for myself. I didn't have a voice then. So I wanted to ask you, like, have you heard that? Have you, has somebody told you you're too sensitive? Um, like you're too much? Yeah, please tell me. Tell me because I want to know if am I the only one? Do you feel the same? So because what I learned as a child is to hide it. I became very, very, very good at pretending I was fine even when I wasn't. So it ended up taking me in different ways, especially when it comes to my career. I became a registered nurse. Currently I work as a registered nurse in pediatrics, but I've been in the medical field for the last 30 years. So I've handled emergencies. I've showed up for everyone. I've smiled through all of it. But to be honest, on the inside, I had been feeling exhausted. I had been just tired and fatigued all the time, but I never understood why. So I'll give you guys an example. So I'd go to work, I'd handle everything fine. I'd come home and I'd just collapse right on this couch, just collapse. I couldn't talk, I couldn't think, I couldn't do anything. And for me, looking at the whole situation, everyone around me just seemed fine. They'd work all day, they'd cook dinner, see friends, have hobbies. And I was like, how? Like, how are you not completely drained? And I thought I was weak. Like I was just lacking stamina or something. But then that conversation that my husband and I had, this is what happened. I started Googling. Google is our go-to. At this point, there was no ChatGPT wasn't around at that time, or all the AI tools that we have. So for me, Google was my advisor. So what I did, I started Googling, and what I found was Dr. Elaine Aron's work on highly sensitive people. And I was like, oh, cool. I found something that I can, that'll help inform me and explain more of what I'm feeling or experiencing or living. So I took the test. Guys, to be honest, I scored off the charts. I really did. And to be honest, it made me sad. I cried. Not sad crying. It was more of a relief cry. And because I found out that there was nothing wrong with me. I'm just wired differently. And that was okay. I had to tell myself that it's okay, that even if I'm wired differently, I now have an answer. I now had language, and everything clicked. So I continued with my reading of Dr. Elaine Aron's work on highly sensitive people. And so I started looking back at my life after I found out I was an HSP. And I was like, oh, okay, that informs that. That's why that happened. Looking back fully on my life, I realized that all the signs were all there. The signs were there. I just didn't know what I was looking at or looking for. And, I didn't even know that I was a highly sensitive person. Like there was a title for it. And I know there's a lot of titles nowadays, but this one was more hit home for me because I it gave me answers of who who I am and what I am experiencing. So now that I knew what I was looking at, I decided to go into therapy. And when I went into therapy, I knew where to start with my therapist is to help me understand a little bit better about being a highly sensitive person because all the signs were there and I just didn't know what I was looking at, but now I could. So, can I walk you through them? Because and see if this sounds familiar for you, right? So, the first sign is I felt other people's emotions in my body. And I found this out by talking to my therapist, and we processed this and talked through it. And I was like, yes, I felt whatever it is the person near me was feeling. If they were anxious, I found that I feel it. And where I felt it was in my chest or in my stomach. You know, where that pit, like in your stomach, you're like, oh, I feel like something's going on. But I couldn't tell if it was my anxiety or the other person's anxiety. So I thought everyone experienced those feelings that I did. I thought everyone could walk into a room, like if you walked in here, and they could immediately know the emotional temperature, but they don't. That's an HSP thing, right? Which leads me into sign number two. I need a lot of alone time. And not just I'm an introvert alone time. I mean, if I didn't get it, I would slowly shut down. I'd stop being able to speak. And I found that people would say, why are you being antisocial? Or why don't you want to hang out? I'd be like, does that happen to you? Like, people don't understand that it's not about them. It's just an HSP thing and something that we're experiencing or going through, which leads me to sign number three. I was affected by everything. Bright lights, loud noises, scratchy fabric, strong smells, all of those. I can just smell everything and it affects me. So I just thought I was picky or I was high maintenance, but no, HSPs, we have a lower sensory threshold. So we process stimuli more deeply. And that's not being difficult, it's just physiology. And as a nurse, I can tell you this, it's real. This is how your nervous system and my nervous system works. And why I thought everyone was like that. So here's what I didn't understand most of my life, right? I thought everyone felt things as deeply as I did. I just thought they were better at hiding it. Like, I assumed everyone cried during commercials but held it in. Everyone felt overwhelmed after normal days but pushed through better than I did. So I thought my problem was that I wasn't strong enough. But that's not true. Most people don't feel things the way I feel them. So, and I want to ask you this. Have you noticed this? Like, you'll replay a conversation like 47 times in your head, analyzing every word, and everyone else just moves on. So, most people can just watch a movie, they can feel sad, but they don't carry that sadness for like 3 days with them, right? Most people can just be around people all day and and not feel completely drained. And that's not because they're stronger. It's because their nervous systems are wired differently than for us highly sensitive people. So they're not processing as much data as you and I are. And as a nurse, I can tell you, HSPs, we have more active mirror neurons than everybody else. We literally feel other people's emotions in our bodies. And that's not metaphorical, that's neuroscience. So no wonder I've always lived my life just exhausted. I'm not just processing my own life, I'm processing everybody else's life as well. So when it all clicked for me, after that conversation that I had with my husband, I started paying attention and I started noticing things I'd never seen before. Can I tell you what I mean? I'll give you an example. I'd be in a meeting at work and someone would be upset, but they'll be trying to hide it. And I know because I would feel it. Everyone else in the room, they had no idea. They thought that person was fine. Or another example is I'd be at a family gathering and the energy would shift, like tension would come into the room and I'd feel it immediately. My body would just tense up and I'd start scanning for what was wrong, what was wrong. And everyone else, they're just talking, laughing, they're not noticing anything. And I'm like, I but I feel all of it. Have you felt this? Like you're picking up on things no one else sees? So that's when I started realizing that I'm not imagining any of this. I'm not being paranoid. I'm just picking up on things that other people don't even register. That's my HSP nervous system. It's just always scanning, always on alert, hypervigilant, always processing, always just trying to keep me safe. And here's the revelation that changed everything for me. Being an HSP is not a flaw. It's something that I don't need to fix it. It's just how I am built. So it's not a flaw. I don't need to fix it. That's just me. I just need to learn to accept that that's who I am. Like for example, I have brown eyes and I'm 5'5" and I'm a highly sensitive person. It's just a trait. It's just a trait. But for 40 something years, I tried not to be this way. I tried to be less sensitive, less emotional, less affected. And all that did was make me miserable because I was fighting against my own nervous system. So here's what I finally understood. And this is the part I want you to really hear. If you're watching this and you're thinking, wait, I do that. I feel that. I thought everyone was like this. You might be an HSP too. And if you are, here's what you need to know right now. I'll give you number one, you're not broken. You're wired to process information more deeply, to feel things more intensely, to notice what other people miss. That is not a flaw. That's just your nervous system doing its job. Number two, the exhaustion is real. Boy, is it? Yes. The exhaustion you feel is real. You're not weak, you're not lazy, and you're not being dramatic. You are processing more data than most people, and that takes a lot of energy. I know it because I've lived it and I feel it. So you need more rest. You need more alone time, more quiet. That's not optional. That is required for you as an HSP in order to function normally. And the last thing is number three, you're not alone. 15 to 20% of people are highly sensitive people. That is 1 in 5, which means for every 5 people you know, one of them feels things the way you do. You just haven't found each other yet, but now you have. Here's the language I wish someone had given me 40 years ago. You're not too sensitive. You're just sensitive. And that's exactly what you're supposed to be. That's it. That's the reframe. You don't need to change. You need to understand. So, what am I doing now that I know I'm a HSP? I'm learning to work with my nervous system instead of working against it. I'm not trying to be less sensitive anymore. I'm not trying to create a life that fits, other people say. I'm just trying to create a life now that fits how I'm wired. And what does that look like? For me, I protect my alone time fiercely, and I don't apologize for it. I leave events early when I'm overwhelmed. I I don't push through until I shut down. I say no to things that my body can't handle. Even if other people think I'm being difficult, I still honor that. And I'm noticing that I am less exhausted, I am feeling less anxious, and I'm less resentful because I'm finally treating myself like someone who's highly sensitive, not someone who is supposed to be different. And that has really changed everything for me. So, and the next thing I wanted to share is if you're new here, my name is Sly. I'm a pediatric registered nurse. I've been in the medical field for 30 years. And I'm a highly sensitive person who didn't figure out until what, I'm almost 50. So I'm still learning what that means. And uh, and like that, like turn to yeah, like introduce myself. And I hope that me sharing this has helped you and is uh, this will help you understand why you're an HSP and telling you a little bit more by introducing myself and telling you what I do. That has been quite helpful. So I want to let you know that you are doing better than you think. And I want you to come back tomorrow. We'll do the same couch, same mission, and I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.